begins in the places where hope has no right to exist. In the underhives where light is rationed like water. In refugee camps where families sleep standing because there is no room to lie down. In void stations where the air tastes like rust and every breath is borrowed time. It begins with whispers. A woman in Sector 7 Gamma tells her daughter about the night the gangers came, how they broke through the barricade, how she closed her eyes and waited for the blades, how instead she heard metal groaning, screaming. When she opened her eyes, there was a figure. A helmet like something from the deep oceans of ancient Terra. It looked at her once, then it walked away. She never saw it again. A dock worker on Station Turchis swears he watched a thing in armor pull a child from beneath a collapsed cargo hauler. No word, no acknowledgement. It simply lifted the steel as though it weighed nothing, retrieved the boy, and vanished into the lower decks. When asked what it was, the worker shakes his head. He does not know. He only knows it did not ask for thanks. An old man in the slums of Hive Mortis speaks of a guardian that appeared when the enforcers came to clear the district. Not to fight them, to stand between them and the civilians. It did not raise a weapon, it simply stood. And the enforcers, for reasons they could not explain, turned back. The old man calls it a miracle. Others call it coincidence. The Administratum classifies these reports as statistical anomalies. Urban myths, the desperate hallucinations of populations under stress. They file the incidents. They do not investigate. They do not care. To the Imperium, one protector and one hive is meaningless. The galaxy burns. Trillions die every day. One armored figure saving dozens changes nothing. But the people do not forget. In the lower decks of a transport hauler, a mother etches a symbol into the wall beside her bunk. A crude helmet. She does not know why she draws it, only that it makes her feel safer. Her son sees it. He draws it too. On his ration tin. On his own palm before he sleeps. In the underhive, a scavenger finds a piece of scrap metal twisted into a shape. Not by design, by accident. But it looks like a helmet. He keeps it. He shows his crew. They nod. They understand. They do not speak of it. But they each carve the shape into their tools. Into their shelter walls. Into the leather straps of their packs. On a pilgrim ship bound for a shrine world, a woman prays. Not to the Emperor. Not loudly. She whispers to the dark. She asks for protection. Not salvation. Not glory. Just survival. Just one more day. She does not name what she prays to. She does not need to. In her hand she clutches a token. Scratched into its surface is the shape of a diving helmet. The symbols spread. Not by decree. Not by organization. They simply appear. Painted on bulkheads. Scratched into prayer tokens. Etched into the metal of hive walls. Always the same shape. Always quiet. Always hidden. The Imperium does not notice. The people do. They do not call it worship. They do not build temples. They do not preach. They simply repeat the symbol. Pass it along. Teach it to their children. It becomes a mark. A quiet comfort. The thing that says, someone is watching. Someone cares. The Administratum sees the reports. Low priority. Superstition among the lower classes. Nothing unusual. Nothing that requires intervention. Not yet. But in the darkness of a billion worlds, the symbol grows. Not as a fire, as a seed. Patient. Rooted in something the Imperium cannot classify. Faith without permission. The prayers are not spoken in cathedrals. They are not sung in hymns. They are whispered in the dark. In the moments before sleep. In the seconds before danger. They are not asking for miracles. They are asking for one thing. Protection. A child in the slums holds a rusted bolt carved into the shape of a helmet. She does not know where it came from. Her mother gave it to her. Told her to keep it close. Told her it would keep her safe. The child does not understand, but she holds it. And when the gangers come, when the screaming starts, she closes her eyes and grips the bolt. She whispers, "Please, just protect me." The gangers do not reach her section. They turn back. No reason, no explanation. The child opens her eyes. She looks at the bolt. She does not let go. In a manufactory on a forge world, a worker paints the symbol on the inside of his helmet. He does not tell anyone. He does not explain it. But when the machinery fails, when the explosion tears through the assembly line, his section is untouched. The blast stops 3 meters away. No logical reason. The mechanicus investigates, finds nothing. The worker says nothing. He paints the symbol again, darker this time. On a troop ship bound for the front, soldiers scratch the helmet into the walls of their barracks. Not openly, not as a group. One soldier does it. Then another sees. Then another. They do not discuss it. But by the time they reach deployment, every bunk has the mark. When the ship is ambushed, when the void mine strikes the hull, the barrack section survives. The rest of the ship does not. The soldiers do not speak of it. But they carve the symbol deeper. The ecclesiarchy does not notice. Not yet. To them, faith is controlled. Faith flows through the emperor, through the saints, through the priesthood. Faith does not begin in the underhives. It does not grow in the dark. It does not spread without sermons. But this does, because it is not faith in a God. It is faith in a function, in the idea that somewhere, someone is protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It is not asking for salvation. It is asking for a chance, for one more day, for the gangers to turn away, for the explosion to stop, for the blade to miss. It is the faith of the desperate, and desperation does not wait for permission. Big Daddy does not know. He walks through the lower decks of a station, repairs a water filtration unit, moves a collapsed beam so a family can reach their shelter. He does not see the symbols on the walls. He does not hear the prayers. He does not know that his existence has become a story, a quiet defiance. He simply continues, because that is what he does. A mother holds her daughter close as the enforcers march through their district. She does not run. She does not fight. She closes her eyes and whispers the words her own mother taught her. Guardian of the depths, shield of the forgotten, protect us. The enforcers pass. They do not stop. The mother opens her eyes. Her daughter looks up at her. Did it work? The mother does not know, but she nods. It worked. In the ecclesiarchy archives, a junior scribe notices a pattern. Reports from 12 different worlds, all mentioning the same symbol, all describing the same figure. He flags it, sends it up the chain. It is marked as low priority, superstition, nothing more. But the scribe keeps the report. He draws the symbol in his notes. He does not know why. It simply feels right. On a hive world, a boy watches his father die, shot by gang enforcers for failing to pay protection fees. The boy does not cry. He picks up a piece of rubble. He carves the helmet into the wall above his father's body. He does not pray. He does not beg. He simply carves, and he whispers, one day, someone will protect us. The Imperium teaches that faith is a weapon, a tool, a means of control, that the emperor protects because he is worshipped, that saints are canonized because they serve the doctrine. But this faith does not serve. It simply survives, and survival does not ask permission. Big Daddy reaches the edge of the station. He sees a child sitting alone, holding a piece of scrap metal shaped like a helmet. The child looks up at him. Big Daddy pauses. The child does not speak. Big Daddy reaches out, places a hand on the child's head. Gentle. Then he walks on. The child watches him go, clutches the metal tighter, and smiles. The report reaches Inquisitor Havorn 3 months after the first symbols appear. He reads it twice. Then he reads it again. Not because he does not understand, but because he does not believe. Unauthorized saint manifestation. The words sit heavy on the page. In the 10,000 years since the heresy, the Imperium has seen saints, holy figures blessed by the emperor, warriors who carry his light, martyrs who die in his name. Every one of them is vetted, investigated, canonized. Every one of them is controlled. This is not. Havorn reviews the evidence. 12 world, 40 stations, hundreds of reports, all describing the same figure. Protecting the innocent, vanishing before thanks can be given. No sermons, no miracles, no demand, just protection. The Mechanicus confirms no matching design in Imperial records. The armor is unknown. The symbol is unregistered. The figure does not communicate, does not identify, does not align with any known faction. It simply exists. And that is the problem. Havorn closes the report. He looks at his subordinate, a young interrogator, eager. The interrogator speaks carefully. Could it be a saint? Sent by the emperor? Havorn does not answer immediately. He walks to the window, looks out over the spires of the inquisitorial fortress. The city below is burning. It is always burning. Somewhere in the Imperium, something is always burning. He speaks slowly, deliberately. If the Emperor sends a saint, we know. The ecclesiarchy knows. The sign is clear. The purpose is defined. This, he gestures to the report, is not clear. It is not defined. It does not serve the doctrine. It does not reinforce the faith. It simply protects. The interrogator hesitates. Is that not what saints do? Havorn turned. His eyes are cold. Saints protect the faithful. This protects anyone, faithful or not, loyal or not. It does not ask for belief. It does not demand worship. It simply acts. And that, he taps the report, is heresy. The interrogator does not understand, but he does not argue. He has learned not to. Havorn issues the orders. Priority Alpha. Ordo Hereticus jurisdiction. Full suppression protocol. The figure is to be identified, captured if possible, destroyed if necessary. But more importantly, the belief is to be eradicated. The Inquisition does not fear the Guardian. They fear what it represents. Hope without structure, faith without control. The idea that protection can exist outside the Imperium, outside the Emperor, outside the doctrine. That is the heresy. Not chaos, not Xeno's corruption, not mutation. Uncontrolled hope. The kill teams deploy, not to the Guardian. Not yet. They go to the worlds where the symbols have appeared, where the prayers are whispered, where the faith is growing. They burn the shrines, crude things, piles of scrap metal shaped like helmets, candles. The Inquisition does not negotiate. They arrive. They identify the symbols. They burn them. Anyone found in possession of the mark is detained, questioned, re-educated. Children are silenced first. In Hive Mortis, a boy is found with the symbol carved into his arm. He is taken. His mother screams. She is taken too. The Inquisition does not explain. They do not justify. They simply act. The symbol is removed. The boy is returned 3 weeks later. He does not speak. He does not draw. He does not look at his mother. On Station Tertius, a woman is caught praying, not to the Emperor, to the Guardian. She is brought before an interrogator. She is asked why. She says she does not know. She only knows it made her feel safe. The interrogator records her statement. Then he has her executed, not as punishment. As example, the ecclesiarchy supports the action. A statement is issued. Faith is sacred. Faith is the Emperor's gift. Faith that does not serve the Emperor is heresy. The faithful are reminded to pray correctly, to worship properly, to report any deviation. The symbols do not stop. They slow. They go deeper. They become smaller, hidden in the seams of clothing, scratched into the underside of boots, carved into the backs of teeth. The Inquisition burns the shrines, but they cannot burn the belief, because belief does not need shrines. Havorn reads the updated reports. The symbols persist. The prayers continue. The figure has not been located. He does not show frustration. He does not show anger. He simply marks the worlds, adds them to the watch list, and he writes a single note in the margin of the report. The faith survives because the Guardian survives. Eliminate the source. Eliminate the heresy. The kill order is issued, not for the symbol, for the one who inspired it. Big Daddy does not know. He walks through the ruins of a settlement, repairs a water purifier, clears debris from a collapsed shelter. He does not see the inquisitorial ships in orbit. He does not hear the orders being transmitted. He simply continues, because that is what he does. And somewhere in the darkness a child whispers a prayer. Guardian of the forgotten, protect us. The Inquisition hears, and they prepare to answer. Big Daddy arrives at the settlement at dawn. The sky is gray. The air smells like ash. The settlement is small, 50 people, maybe less. They live in the ruins of an old imperial outpost. The walls are cracked. The roof is gone. But it is shelter, and shelter is survival. He sees the shrine immediately. It is crude, built from scrap. Pieces of metal welded together into the shape of a helmet. His helmet, candles surround it, small offerings, ration packs, water pouches, a child's toy. The people have given what little they have. Big Daddy stops. He does not approach the shrine. He does not acknowledge it. He simply stops. His helmet turns slowly, scanning the settlement. The people watch him from a distance. Waiting, a woman steps forward. Her face is lined with scars. She speaks carefully. We built it for you. To thank you. You saved us 3 months ago. When the raiders came, you stopped them. We wanted to honor you. Big Daddy does not respond. The woman hesitates. She gestures to the shrine. We pray to you, not as a god, just as a protector. We ask for your blessing, for your continued watch. We know you do not stay, but we hope you hear us. Big Daddy turns away from the shrine. He walks past it, past the woman, past the people watching. He does not stop. He moves to the outer wall, examines the barricades. They are weak, poorly constructed. He begins dismantling them, not destroying, rebuilding. He pulls apart the damaged sections, rewelds the joints, reinforces the supports. The people watch in silence. He works for hours. He does not speak, does not pause. He repairs the walls, clears the debris from the main path, fixes a water collector that has been broken for weeks. He moves through the settlement like a machine, purposeful, unconcerned with the eyes following him. When he finishes, he walks to the edge of the settlement. He does not look back at the shrine. He does not acknowledge the people. He simply leaves. The woman calls after him. Please, let us thank you. Let us give you something. Big Daddy does not stop. He walks into the wasteland. His steps are heavy, steady, unyielding. The people watch until he disappears over the horizon. Then they turn back to the settlement, to the walls he repaired, to the water he fixed, to the safety he restored. And they return to the shrine, because they do not understand. They do not understand that he does not want their worship, that he does not hear their prayers, that he is not a saint or a savior or a symbol. He is a function. He protects because that is what he was made to do, not because he chooses, not because he believes, because it is the only thing he knows. But the people cannot see that. They see the helmet, the strength. They see him arrive when hope is gone. They see him repair what is broken, protect what is vulnerable, and then leave without asking for anything. To them that is divine. So they pray, and Big Daddy walks on, uncaring, not because he rejects their faith, but because he does not perceive it. He does not process worship. He processes threat, vulnerability, need. When he sees a broken wall, he repairs it. When he sees a child in danger, he shields it. When he sees a settlement under attack, he stands between the attackers and the innocent. That is all. There is no philosophy, no theology, no grand design. There is only function. But the galaxy does not understand function without purpose. The Imperium teaches that all action serves a cause, that protection is a choice, that sacrifice demands meaning. They cannot comprehend a being that protects without belief, without agenda, without self. So they call it sainthood, and they build shrines. Big Daddy reaches the crest of a ridge. He stops, turns, looks back at the settlement. The people are moving, working, rebuilding. They are safe. For now, that is enough. He turns away, and he walks. Behind him in the settlement, a child places a new candle at the shrine. She whispers a prayer. Thank you, Guardian. Thank you for watching over us. Big Daddy does not hear. But the prayer is spoken, and the faith grows, not because he accepts it, but because he cannot stop it. In the Imperium, sainthood is not given. It is taken, by belief, by desperate hope, by the need to see something greater in the darkness. Big Daddy does not want to be a saint, but the people need him to be one. And need does not ask permission. He continues walking, toward the next settlement, the next child who needs protection. He does not think about the shrine. He does not consider the prayers. He does not wonder what the people believe. He simply walks, because that is what he does. And somewhere behind him, the woman kneels before the shrine. She does not pray for miracles. She does not ask for salvation. She simply whispers, "Keep walking, Guardian. Keep protecting. We will remember you." Big Daddy does not hear, but the words are spoken. And in the galaxy of the 41st millennium, where hope is heresy and faith is controlled, those words are the most dangerous thing of all. Uncontrolled devotion. The Inquisition is coming, but the faith is already here. The child's name is Marin. She is 8 years old. She does not remember her parents. They died when she was 4, killed in a gang raid. She has lived in the Underhive ever since, scavenging, learning to be invisible. She is very good at being invisible, but she carries the symbol. It is carved into a piece of scrap metal, roughly the size of her palm. She found it 2 years ago, half buried in rubble. She does not know who made it, but she knows what it means. Protection. The Guardian. She has heard the stories. Everyone in the Underhive has. The figure that appears when danger comes. The one who shields the innocent. The one who never stays. She has never seen him, but she believes. And belief is all she has. The Inquisition arrives on the 3rd day of the month. Black ships. They do not announce themselves. They simply descend into the Underhive and begin their work. Purging, cleansing, eradicating the heresy. They find the symbols everywhere. Scratched into walls, painted on doors, carved into the floors. They burn them. They destroy the shrines. They detain anyone found carrying the mark. The people do not resist. They know better. Resistance means death. Compliance means survival. Most comply. Marin does not. When the inquisitorial forces reach her section, she is standing in the center of the square, holding the metal symbol in her hand. The soldiers see her immediately. A sergeant steps forward. He speaks through his helmet. Child, drop the icon. Step away. Marin does not move. The sergeant repeats the order. Drop the icon. This is your final warning. Marin looks at him. Her eyes are calm. She is not afraid. She has been afraid before. This is not fear. This is certainty. She speaks quietly. He will come. The sergeant pauses. Marin holds up the symbol. The Guardian. He will come. He always comes when people need him. The sergeant does not respond. He gestures to his squad. 2 soldiers move forward. They reach for the child. Marin does not run. She closes her eyes. She whispers, "Just one more time." The soldiers grab her arms, and the ground shakes. It is not an explosion, not a quake. It is something else. A vibration. Deep, rhythmic, like footsteps, but heavier. The soldiers stop. They look around. The sergeant raises his weapon. He scans the perimeter. What is that? Marin opens her eyes. She smiles. Big Daddy emerges from the shadows at the edge of the square. He does not run. He does not charge. He simply walks. Steady. Inevitable. His armor reflects the dim light of the Underhive. His helmet gleams. His drill hangs at his side. He is not here to fight. He is here to stand. The sergeant orders his squad to form a line. Weapons raised. Identify yourself. State your allegiance. Big Daddy does not answer. He walks forward. The soldiers do not fire. Not yet. They are trained. Disciplined. They wait for the order. But the sergeant does not give it, because he is staring at the figure, at the armor, at the helmet, and he realizes this is the one they were sent to find. The sergeant activates his Vox. Command. Target identified. Section 12. Requesting immediate support. Big Daddy reaches the center of the square. He stops in front of Marin. The soldiers still hold her arms. Big Daddy looks at them. He does not speak. He does not threaten. He simply stands, waiting. The soldiers do not let go. Big Daddy takes 1 step forward. The soldiers release the child. They step back, not because they are ordered, but because every instinct in their bodies is screaming at them to move. The sergeant shouts, "Hold position. Do not engage unless fired upon." Big Daddy does not move. Marin steps back. She looks up at him. She whispers, "You came." Big Daddy does not respond. He does not look at her. His helmet remains fixed on the soldiers, on the threat. He is not here for thanks. He is here because a child was in danger. That is all. The sergeant speaks into his Vox. Command. Target is non-hostile. Repeat. Non-hostile. No aggression detected. Awaiting orders. The response comes, "Hold position. Reinforcements en route. Do not engage." The sergeant relays the order. His squad lowers their weapons slightly, but they do not relax. The square is silent. The only sound is the hum of Big Daddy's armor, the faint wheeze of his breathing apparatus. Marin clutches the symbol. She looks at the soldiers, then at Big Daddy. She speaks softly. "You do not have to fight them. Just let me go. I will leave. I will hide the symbol. Please do not let them hurt you." Big Daddy does not respond. He does not leave. He simply stands. Minutes pass. The reinforcements arrive. More soldiers, heavier weapons. An inquisitorial officer steps forward. He is older, decorated. His armor is inscribed with purity seals. He looks at Big Daddy, then at the child, then back at Big Daddy. He speaks calmly. "You are protecting the child." Big Daddy does not respond. The officer nods. "I understand. But the child carries a heretical symbol. She must be detained, re-educated. This is not negotiable." Big Daddy does not move. The officer considers. He looks at his forces, then at the child, then at Big Daddy. He makes a decision. "Stand down, all units." The sergeant protests. Orders were to detain all carriers of the symbol. The officer does not look at him. Orders are revised. The soldiers hesitate. Then they comply. They back away, slowly, weapons still raised, but they do not fire. They retreat to the edge of the square, then beyond. The officer is the last to leave. He looks at Big Daddy one final time. He speaks quietly. "I do not know what you are, but I know what you represent, and that is more dangerous than any weapon. We will meet again." He turns, and he leaves. The square is empty. Marin looks up at Big Daddy. She whispers. Big Daddy looks down at her. For the first time, he acknowledges her. He reaches out, places a hand on her head. Gentle, brief. Then he turns, and he walks away. Marin watches him go. She clutches the symbol. She does not cry. She does not call after him. She simply watches, and she believes. The inquisitorial officer's name is Grimdark. He has served the Ordo Hereticus for 30 years. He has burned heretics, executed traitors, purged entire hives. He does not hesitate. He does not question. He serves the Emperor. He serves the Imperium. But as he walks away from the square, he feels something he has not felt in decades. Not about his faith, not about his duty, but about his orders. He replays the encounter in his mind. The child. The thing did not attack, did not threaten, did not speak. It simply stood. And that was enough. Enough to make his soldiers retreat. Enough to make him revise his orders. He does not understand why. Back at the command post, he files his report. Target encountered. Non-hostile. No engagement. Civilian released. No casualties. The report is accurate. But it does not capture the weight of the moment. The way the figure looked at him. Not with anger. Not with judgment. Just presence. Havorn reads the report. He does not respond immediately. He reviews the surveillance footage. Watches the figure stand. Watches the soldiers retreat. Watches the child walk away. He replays it 3 times. Then he closes the file. He does not issue new orders. He does not escalate. He simply marks the report as an anomaly, files it, and moves on. Because the Inquisition understands something the Imperium does not teach. Some things cannot be stopped by force. The purges continue, but they are quieter now, more selective. The Inquisition burns the shrines, detains the priests of the new faith, re-educates the believers. But they do not hunt the Guardian, not openly, not directly, because they know that hunting him will make him a martyr, that destroying him will make him eternal, that the faith does not need him to survive. It only needs the idea of him. So they let him walk, and they focus on controlling the belief. It does not work. The symbols persist, smaller now, but persistent. The prayers continue, whispered in the dark, spoken in the moments before sleep. The people do not build shrines. They do not gather. They do not preach. They simply believe, and the Imperium cannot burn belief. Big Daddy continues walking. He does not know about the Inquisition's decision. He does not know about the surveillance. He does not know that he has been classified as a Tier 3 anomaly, observed but not engaged. He simply walks. He reaches a settlement on the edge of a wasteland. The people are struggling. Their water supply is contaminated. Their shelters are collapsing. He repairs the filtration system, reinforces the walls, clears the debris. He does not speak, does not stay. He simply works, then leaves. The people watch him go. They do not build a shrine. They do not pray aloud, but they remember. And that is enough. In the inquisitorial fortress, Havorn receives updated reports. The faith is spreading, slowly, quietly, but spreading. 12 worlds now. 20 stations, hundreds of reports. The symbols appear faster than they can be erased. The prayers multiply faster than they can be silenced. Havorn does not show frustration. He does not show anger. He simply reviews the data, looks for patterns, searches for weaknesses, and he finds none, because the faith has no structure, no leadership, no central figure. It is distributed, organic, impossible to target. The Guardian himself is irrelevant. He could die tomorrow and the faith would survive, because the faith is not in him. It is in the idea of him, the idea that someone protects the innocent. And in the Imperium, where the innocent are expendable, that idea is revolution. Havorn writes a final note in his report. Recommend observation protocol. Do not engage, but do not interfere. The faith will either consume itself or become manageable. Escalation will only accelerate its growth. The recommendation is approved. The kill order is rescinded. Big Daddy is no longer a target. He is a watched anomaly. On Terra, in the halls of the Inquisitorial High Council, the report is discussed. Briefly, the counselors agree. The faith is dangerous, but it is not chaos. It does not corrupt. It does not destroy. It simply offers hope, and hope, while uncontrolled, is not heresy. Not yet. The council issues a directive. Continue observation. Document all manifestations, but do not engage unless the faith becomes organized, unless it challenges the ecclesiarchy, unless it threatens the doctrine. Until then, let it exist. Because the Imperium has learned over 10,000 years that some battles cannot be won, that some ideas cannot be killed, that faith, once rooted, is eternal. They can burn the symbols, but they cannot burn the belief. Big Daddy reaches the edge of a cliff. He stops, looks out over the landscape, a ruined city in the distance. Smoke rising from a dozen points. People are there. People who need protection. He does not think about the Inquisition. He does not think about the faith. He does not think about the child who thanked him. He thinks about the city, about the threats inside, about the innocent who cannot defend themselves. And he begins walking, because that is what he does. Behind him in the underhive, Marin holds the symbol. She whispers a prayer, not for herself, for him. Guardian, keep walking, keep protecting. We believe in you. Big Daddy does not hear, but the prayer is spoken. And in the darkness of the 41st millennium, where faith is controlled and hope is rationed, that prayer is an act of defiance. The Inquisition knows, and they do nothing, because they understand. A saint is not needed. A symbol is enough. The throne world, the heart of the Imperium, the palace that spans a continent, the halls that echo with 10,000 years of history. And at its center, buried beneath layers of machinery and faith, the golden throne. The Emperor sits, eternal. His body is a ruin. His mind is a weapon. Every day he holds the Astronomicon, guides a billion ships through the warp, shields humanity from the horrors beyond reality. He is a god. He is a prisoner. He is the Imperium, and he perceives, not with eyes, not with thought, but with something deeper. The collective weight of humanity's faith, 10 trillion souls across 1 million worlds. Their desperation, their hope, all of it flows through him. A river of belief. Crushing, he filters it, processes it, uses it to fuel the Astronomicon, to hold the Webway Gate, to keep the demons at bay. He does not listen to individual prayers. He cannot. There are too many. 1 billion voices every second. 1 billion cries for help, for mercy, for salvation. He hears none of them, but he perceives the patterns. And recently the pattern has changed. It is subtle, a ripple in the ocean, a single note in a symphony. But it is there, a new form of faith, different from the rest. Not loud, not demanding, just steady, quiet, persistent. The Emperor perceives it. He does not investigate. He does not focus. He simply notices. The way one notices a distant star, present, but there. The faith is not directed at him. That is what makes it unusual. For 10,000 years, every prayer in the Imperium has been to him. Every shrine, every hymn, every desperate plea. All of it flows to the golden throne, to the Emperor, to the God of mankind. But this faith does not. It flows elsewhere, to a symbol, to an idea, to a guardian who does not speak, who does not demand, who does not accept worship. The emperor perceives the shape of it, the diving helmet, the armored figure, the silent protector. He does not know what it is. He does not care. But he perceives the nature of the faith. It is pure, not in the sense of righteousness, not in the sense of doctrine, but in the sense of function. The people do not pray for glory. They do not pray for salvation. They pray for protection, for one more day, for the chance to survive. And they do not expect miracles. That is what makes it different. The emperor's faithful pray because they believe he will answer. They pray because they believe their devotion will be rewarded. They pray because the ecclesiarchy tells them to. But this faith does not expect an answer. It simply hopes. And hope without expectation is the rarest thing in the galaxy. The emperor does not bless it. He does not stop it. He does not interfere. He simply perceives. And in perceiving, he allows it to exist. Not because he approves, but because he does not disapprove. In the warp, the demons sense the ripple. Chaos always senses change. They circle the new faith like sharks, testing, probing, searching for a way in, for corruption, for weakness, for the moment when hope turns to despair. They find nothing, because the faith is not in a being. It is not in a god. It is in a function, and functions cannot be corrupted. They can only be destroyed. The demons retreat, confused, frustrated, but wary, because even chaos understands that some things are beyond its reach. The emperor perceives their retreat. He does not react. He does not celebrate. He simply continues, holding the Astronomicon, shielding the webway, sustaining the Imperium. But for the first time in centuries, he perceives something new, a faith that does not serve him, and he does not destroy it. On Terra, in the halls of the Administratum, a scribe is updating the registry of Imperial saints. He pauses, looks at a flagged entry, unauthorized saint manifestation. Status observed, no action required. The scribe is confused. Saints are canonized, blessed by the ecclesiarchy. This entry has none of that, just observation. He considers reporting the error. But the entry is marked by the Inquisition, high clearance. He does not have authority to question it, so he files it and moves on. In the warp, the emperor's presence flickers. Just for a moment, a single instant of focus. He perceives the guardian, not directly, not clearly, but enough to understand what it is. A protector, a purpose without belief. He does not name it. He does not bless it. He simply acknowledges it, and then he returns to his work. Because the emperor has learned over 10,000 years that the Imperium does not need more gods. It needs more protectors, more beings who act without expectation, who shield without demand, who stand without worship. He cannot create them. He can barely sustain himself, but he can allow them to exist. And so he does. Big Daddy walks through the ruins of a city. He does not know the emperor perceives him. He does not know that his existence has been acknowledged by the most powerful being in the galaxy. He does not know that the golden throne for a single instant focused on him. He simply walks, because that is what he does. On Terra, a custodian stands guard outside the throne room. He feels something. A change, not in the palace, not in the defenses, but in the air, in the weight of reality. He looks toward the throne, and for a moment he perceives something he has not felt in centuries. The emperor is not alone, not in the sense of presence, but in the sense of purpose. There is another protector, far from Terra, standing, shielding. The custodian does not understand, but he does not need to. He simply returns to his post, and the emperor continues, eternal, but aware. The symbol spreads faster now, not because it is preached, but because it is needed. In a galaxy where hope is rationed like water, where faith is a weapon, where survival is a privilege, the symbol becomes something else. It becomes survival itself. A soldier on the front paints the helmet on the inside of his armor. He does not tell his commissar. He does not tell his squad. But when the charge comes, when the enemy breaks through, when the line collapses, his section holds. No explanation, no miracle, just chance. But the soldier does not believe in chance. He paints the symbol again, deeper. A mother in a refugee camp carves the helmet into a piece of cloth. She wraps it around her daughter's wrist. She does not pray aloud. She does not build a shrine. But when the food runs out, when the gangers come, when the enforcers turn away, someone helps. A stranger. They do not explain why. They simply help. The mother looks at the cloth, and she knows. A scavenger in the ruins finds the symbol etched into a wall. He does not know who made it, but he recognizes it. He has heard the stories. He does not believe them, but he touches the symbol, and he whispers, "If you are real, if you are listening, help me survive one more day." The scavenger survives, and he etches the symbol into his own wall. The Inquisition monitors. They do not intervene. They record every instance, every symbol, every prayer. They build a database, cross-reference the reports, search for patterns, for organization, for leadership. They find none, because the faith has no structure, no priests, no temple, no hierarchy. It is distributed, organic, a weed growing in the cracks of the Imperium, impossible to uproot without destroying the foundation. So they watch, and they wait. Big Daddy does not know. He walks through a hive city, sees a child trapped beneath rubble. He lifts the debris, pulls the child free, hands them to a nearby adult, then walks away. He does not see the adult carve the symbol into the wall. He does not hear the child whisper a prayer. He simply continues, because that is what he does. In the underhive, Marin has become something unexpected. Not a leader, not a priest, but a witness. She tells the story of the day the Inquisition came, the day the Guardian stood, the day she was saved. She does not preach. She does not demand belief. She simply tells the story, and people listen, because the story is true. She does not know that her story is being told on 12 other worlds, that other children are telling the same story, that the Guardian is becoming a legend, not because he seeks it, but because the people need it. Legends do not ask permission. Big Daddy reaches the edge of a battlefield. Imperial forces are pinned. The enemy is advancing. Civilians are caught in the crossfire. He does not wait. He walks into the battle, not to fight, to shield. He positions himself between the civilians and the fire. His armor absorbs the impacts. He does not return fire. He does not attack. He simply stands. The civilians run. The soldiers watch. The enemy pauses. Big Daddy stands until the civilians are clear. Then he walks away. The soldiers do not stop him. They do not thank him. They simply watch. And when the battle is over, when the enemy is driven back, they do not report the encounter, but they remember. And that night, 3 soldiers carve the symbol into their gear. On a forge world, a tech priest detects an anomaly, a pattern in the supply requests, specific metals, specific alloys, requested from dozens of worlds, all being shaped into the same form, a symbol. The tech priest flags the anomaly, sends it to the Mechanicus High Council. The council reviews it and files it as irrelevant, because the Mechanicus does not concern itself with faith, only function. And the symbol, while unusual, does not disrupt production, does not interfere with the machine god's work, so they ignore it, and the symbols continue to be made. Big Daddy walks through a wasteland. He sees a settlement in the distance, smoke rising. He increases his pace, not running, but faster, purposeful. He arrives to find the settlement under attack. He does not hesitate. He positions himself at the gate. The raiders see him. They hesitate. Then they attack. Big Daddy does not kill them. He disarms them, disables them, throws them back. He does not pursue. He simply holds the gate until the raiders retreat, until the settlement is safe. Then he walks inside, checks for injuries, repairs what is broken, and leaves. The people watch him go. They do not thank him. They do not need to. They simply rebuild, and they carve the symbol into the gate. In the ecclesiarchy archives, a cardinal reads the reports. He is old. He has served for 60 years. He has seen saints rise and fall. He has seen faith weaponized, controlled, directed. But this faith is different. It does not serve the ecclesiarchy. It does not reinforce the doctrine. It simply exists. He writes a single note in the margin of the report. This is not heresy. This is hope. And hope, while dangerous, is not our enemy. The note is ignored, but it is written. And in the darkness of the galaxy, where faith is a tool and hope is a crime, that note is an act of rebellion. Big Daddy continues walking. He does not know that he has become a saint. He does not know that his image is carved into 1 billion walls, that his name is whispered in 1 trillion prayers, that his existence has changed the faith of the Imperium. He simply walks, because that is what he does. And behind him the faith grows, not because he accepts it, but because he cannot stop it. The settlement is quiet. The Guardian has been gone for 3 weeks. The people have returned to their routines, scavenging, repairing. But something is different. They protect each other now. A woman sees a child struggling to carry water. She helps, not because she is asked, but because it is what the Guardian would do. A man sees a collapsed shelter. He stops his work, helps rebuild it, not for payment, not for thanks, because it is what the Guardian would do. The behavior spreads, not quickly, not obviously, but steadily. People begin acting differently. They shield the vulnerable. They share resources. They stand between the weak and the strong, not because they are ordered, not because they are faithful, because they have seen it done. And they remember. In the Underhive, Marin organizes the children, not as a leader, as a guide. She teaches them to watch for danger, to help those who fall, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. She does not invoke the Guardian. She simply shows them how, and the children learn. On a transport hauler, a crew member sees another struggling with a jammed cargo door. He stops. The other crew member is surprised. They do not speak. They simply work together. Fix the door. Move on. But the next day, the other crew member helps someone else. And the behavior spreads. The Inquisition monitors. They do not understand. The Guardian is gone. The symbols are suppressed. The shrines are burned. But the behavior persists. The people are acting as though the Guardian is still present, still watching, still protecting. Havern reviews the reports. He sees the pattern, and he understands. The faith is no longer in the Guardian. It is in the action. The people do not pray for protection. They provide it. They do not wait for the Guardian. They become the Guardian. They copy his behavior, his function, and that is more dangerous than worship, because worship can be controlled. Behavior cannot. Havern writes a final report. The faith has evolved. It is no longer centered on a figure. It is centered on a principle. Protection. Selflessness. Action without expectation. The principle is spreading. It cannot be stopped without destroying the populations that carry it. Recommend monitoring only. The report is filed. The Inquisition does nothing, because they understand. They have not lost, but they have not won. Big Daddy is 50 kilometers away. He does not know what is happening in the settlements he has left. He does not know that his behavior is being copied, that his function is being learned, that his purpose is being adopted. He simply walks. He sees a figure in the distance. He approaches. It is a man, badly wounded. Big Daddy kneels, begins field treatment. The man opens his eyes. He sees the helmet. He whispers, "You are real." Big Daddy does not respond. He finishes the treatment, helps the man to his feet, points toward a nearby settlement. The man nods. He looks at Big Daddy. Big Daddy does not acknowledge the thanks. He simply turns. The man watches him go. Then he looks at his hands, at the bandages, at the care that was given without expectation. He does not build a shrine. He does not pray. But he remembers. And when he reaches the settlement, he helps someone else. The cycle continues. In the Imperium, faith is taught, controlled. But this faith is not taught. It is observed, learned, repeated. It spreads not through sermons but through action, through example, through the simple act of one person helping another. And that is the most powerful form of faith, because it does not require a God. It only requires a choice. Big Daddy reaches the crest of a hill. He stops, looks back. The landscape is dark, ruined, but in the distance he sees lights. He does not smile. He does not feel pride. He simply observes. And then he turns and walks into the darkness. Behind him, in 1,000 settlements across 12 worlds, people are protecting each other. Not because they are commanded, not because they are faithful, but because they have seen it done, and they choose to continue. The Guardian walks alone, but the faith walks with him. In every person who shields a child, in every hand that lifts the fallen, in every act of protection without expectation. The Guardian is gone, but the faith survived. Because faith, in the end, is not about gods or saints or miracles. It is about the choice to protect, even when no one is watching, even when no one will know, even when the Guardian has already left. Big Daddy disappears over the horizon. The people continue. And in the darkness of the 41st millennium, where hope is heresy and kindness is weakness, that continuation is the greatest miracle of all. The faith survived, not because of the Guardian, but because of the people he inspired. And that faith will never die. End of episode 3.